All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trading for Charity, Week 3, Day 2. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with you all. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. I see Jay is already in the house. Welcome, Jay. Hey there, Temps. Hopefully, you're doing well. Good morning, Wally. First in. Subscribe. That is right. So, for everybody just tuning in for the very first time, this is our Trading for Charity event that we're doing up until December 10th. And Jay's coming in with the $25 super chat all ready to kick us off. Thank you very much, Jay. Thank you. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you guys had a good jockey club this morning. Good morning, Wisdom. Hopefully you're doing well. So this is our Trading for Charity event. What it is, it's a live trading room where we're answering your questions, helping you become better investors, learning how to make the right moves, learning how to read charts a little bit better to help improve your performance out there. At the same time, we're also raising money to donate to Toys for Tots, also Levine's Children's Hospital, to help make this holiday season brighter and better for kids that are going through a rough time this time of year. So welcome everybody. For donations, as you saw, Jay just sent in a $25 super chat. If you want to send in a super chat, simply click on the link down below the chat box there, and you'll see it pop up at the very top. With all donations, all of those will be going directly towards the final tally for the Trading for Charity for the money that we raised. Also, at the same time, if you can't donate, that's fine too. If you're not already a subscriber, all you have to do is subscribe to the VectorVest YouTube channel, which click on that red button down in the bottom right-hand corner right now if you're not already a subscriber, and VectorVest will make a donation on your behalf. So, as always, tell all your friends, tell all your family, tell them to come on in here, tell them to come subscribe, so that way we can show you how to improve your performance and your portfolio and also help support a great cause here. Thank you, Franklin. I appreciate that. Good morning, Bob. Hopefully you're doing well from sunny Oregon. Wally's coming in. Lee's here this morning. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. As always, if anytime anybody sends in a super chat to help out with the cause, make sure to show them some love in the chat as well. So, what an interesting day we have here. We have a lot to get into. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal trade with APOV. We made roughly a little over 18% in about 20, 30 minutes or so. I know a lot of people in here yesterday made some good gains on that one. So congrats to everybody out there. Let's see if we can find another big winner here today. So starting off, we'll take a look at the homepage right now. The Dow is still in the red, down a little more than 1/10%, coming back significantly from where it was at the open. NASDAQ's up 0.2%. S&P 500 is essentially flat, up about 0.5% or 0.05%. And then the VectorVest composite is basically flat for the day as well. So, while the major indices are relatively flat, they've definitely been coming off of those lows that we saw at the open this morning. So we're starting to see a little bit of a bullish bias here. But for the time being, we still have one tick into the red. Therefore, the color guard is mildly bearish. And VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. And this is based upon you swing traders out there. So giving you some good entries and exits right now. Even though the major indices are up slightly and have been recovering most of the morning, right now still not a good time to enter into some of those long-term holdings or those short-term swing trades. But we'll take a look at the charts here in a little bit and get a deeper dive into this here. So looking at the advanced declines, we have, first off, at the very beginning of the day, we started off with 2-to-1 declines to advances. And since that point, we've now got back to about a break even of 1-to-1 on the advanced declines. So market is mixed right now. We got to be careful with what we get into, but luckily we have VectorVest on our side. So hopefully we can find some really good trades to jump on board with here today. Good morning, Wendell. Hopefully you're doing well. Let's see. As always, VV Nation in the house. Love seeing VV Nation here. But what I was going to say is, as always, we do have a special giveaway here today. So the code word for today is going to be turkey, since Thanksgiving comes up tomorrow, which, by the way, happy early Thanksgiving to everybody tuning in here today. If you want to enter into it for a chance to win free access to the Tampa 2-day event coming up in January, make sure to type in turkey in the chat. That'll be our code word for today. Don't worry about spamming it. It's okay. Enter it in as many times as you want. Let's see the turkey start filling up the chat there. All right, so with that, we see what's going on in the market. We see major indices bouncing back and forth, but they have been picking up off their lows, starting to trend higher. So therefore, let's go ahead, jump into the market timing graph first and foremost, and take a look at the overall market here. So right now, we do see a level of resistance right around 69.33 on the VectorVest composite. We can see it was resistance back here at the beginning of September. Resistance here in October, broke through finally, now came back down, broke down below that point as of yesterday, and coming back to retest it here today. So what we see here is, yes, the market has been recovering, but with a major support resistance line, we want to be careful out there because, of course, it's like a gravity field, if you will. It sucks everything up towards that line. So yes, we broke down below that yesterday, but starting to come back, retest that now as a resistance rather than a support. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Looking at the DPO is still in positive territory, but if we start to fall away from this support resistance zone, we could definitely see that DPO start picking up. Looking at MACD here at the bottom, we're starting to slowly trend lower, getting close to that zero line. The MACD is negative compared to the signal line, but we're looking for these to start moving lower and turn into negative territory. And Shailesh is coming in with a 24.28 super chat, or £17.99. So thank you, Shailesh, for that. Appreciate all the support. Once again, everybody, show them some love. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of VV Nation. We greatly appreciate it. All right, so we have what we see here is a 20-day moving average, or 20-day weighted moving average. And we can see we had a great uptrend coming from about the middle of October till about the end of October, or really about the middle of November here. And then recently we're starting to see that sell-off coming into the market. We've been warning everybody about it. We've been talking about it. And right now, we definitely want to err on the side of caution if we're going to be thinking about jumping into any long positions, especially for swing trades or long-term holdings. Right now is not necessarily the best time to be doing that, so we definitely want to be cautious with that one. And Ray is coming in with a $100 super chat. Thank you very much, Ray. Everybody, show Ray some love. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. All of the super chats, once again, go directly to the cause at the end of the time, at the end of the event, and that way we can put it towards the new toys and everything to go towards the two charities that you guys have selected. So once again, thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. Let's get in here to make that money back for everybody. Let's find some decent trades here today to help everybody boost their portfolios a little bit right before the holiday tomorrow. All right, so what we're going to do, as always, one of my favorite searches found in the Unisearch tool here comes under the searches price volume, and it's daily boomers % price change. We have a few different daily boomers searches, but this is probably one of the most basic ones and gives you a variety of different opportunities here. So we'll go ahead and graph these real fast, pull up the intraday charts, and then BFRI. Yes, it's moving higher, but just kind of sideways right now. So wait on this one, not quite ready to jump on board with that. LGVN, we looked at it a few days ago. This has been a pretty volatile mover here. You can see it's halted multiple times earlier this morning, and once again coming in right before the 11 o'clock time frame. Starting to pull back again. We'll keep an eye on that one. LGVN could be an interesting one. OCUP moving lower, so probably going to stay away from that for the time. Sopa's an interesting one. I saw this earlier. I like what we're seeing so far with this one. You had a breakout from resistance at 1435. It's starting to run. You see a little bit of weakness coming in here. DPO's not really confirming that new high yet. So this one can be on our radar, but maybe not the best time to jump on board quite yet. Maybe wait for a better opportunity or a better buying point rather than right now. AUVI doesn't really have any trading activity. Yes, we saw some trading coming in just a few moments ago, but for the time being, what you see in the past is most likely what you're going to get in the future, so I'd be extremely cautious with this one. LOV, just moving sideways for the time being, so wait for that. Also, volume is pretty lackluster with that one here today. TRDA, steady move higher from bottom left to upper right, but once again, no real trading activity. We're looking for highly liquid, fast-moving candidates. RLX has a nice steady rise from bottom left to upper right. I like what we're seeing with this one so far. It just is hitting that new high here. Maybe waiting for a slight pullback to kick in. It's been running up, pulling back, running up, pulling back. So maybe wait for the pullback on this one. But we've definitely got some good candidates to look at and keep our eyes peeled for some decent winners here today. With GES, we're looking to see if it can break this 2450 level. That would be a decent entry opportunity on that one. Also, we want to see volume confirming that breakout as well. Coming into PSTG, nice steady rise from bottom left to upper right, but not really the volatility we're looking for. RX, another good looking candidate pulling back, waiting for that retest of support, and then maybe we can catch it at that point. XAIR pulling back a little bit right now. Volume has been a little lackluster. TUIA, another one, volume kind of iffy. Same with this one. SQL. So we've seen a lot of them just steadily rising from bottom left to upper right, but the vast majority of them have some liquidity issues that we want to be careful with. So, especially right before a holiday, trading typically is a little lighter. So we got to be picky, got to pick our candidates properly. So GOCO, another one steadily rising here, but what we're looking for, GLBE could be an interesting one. Let's go. So GLBE, let's see, RXRX, GES, and RLX. All right, so let's go ahead, add those in here. Go ahead, get those in. And Wendell wants to take a look at ASML. Sure, we can definitely take a look at that one. Let's get these pulled up real fast. Continue the live trading session going forward once a week. Maybe. We'll have to see. That right now, coming into the final stretch of the year, things get quite hectic. So maybe starting off 2022, that could be an interesting addition to the content we have here over on our YouTube channel. So maybe we'll definitely take a look. But one other thing to consider there, Asif, is we do have the VectorVest Jockey Club. It is a live trading room we do Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until about 10:30. I do the Jockey Club on Tuesdays as well. So if you want to see more of this live trading, you could also join us over on the YouTube channel, or excuse me, the VectorVest Jockey Club. And catch some great trades there. I know a lot of our Jockey Club members are in the chat here as well, so maybe they can give you some insight on some of their gains or some of their performance or thoughts on the Jockey Club there. All right, so ASML, let's go ahead, pull that up, take a quick look. So ASML has had a nice steady rise most of the day. You did see a little bit of weakness coming in off that high. You see some profit taking going on, pulling back a little bit. It's $796 a share. It's going to be quite difficult to really day trade it, especially because it's more of a steady, slow mover. But we'll definitely look at the longer term chart on this one. Let's go 6 months even. So with 6 month look back, what we see right now is, yes, we had a decent run. Yes, it's pulling up here today. But overall, we have lower highs being formed. And so therefore, if you're not already in it, what we see with the chart, it would tell us to, keep it on our radar, but not necessarily the best time to jump on board quite yet. Stochastics still has some room to go before we get to that oversold territory, which would suggest that upside potential outweighs downside risk. And DPO is still steadily falling right now. So with this one, I've got to be careful with it, and wait for a better opportunity, because on a swing trade for almost $800 stock, not going to be a typical day trade. So it is going to be treated more of a swing trade. And with the 3 and the 8 negative, once again, the stochastics still not in oversold territory, and DPO steadily falling. Right now is not the time to be bullish on it. So that's what I see with that one. All right, let's go back. RLX, keeping an eye on that. That's been looking pretty good. Let's go zoom into a 1 day first and foremost, get an idea on the overall sense of the market. And then right now, once again, we have a 20-day or 20 period weighted moving average. We have DPO here at the bottom, and then MACD right below that. So one thing, and I'm going to point this out, I'm sure a lot of you guys can already see it, but one thing that we can see right out of the gate, the first thing that really strikes me as significant that we want to pay attention to: price steadily moving higher, DPO steadily moving lower, MACD steadily moving lower. So what this is telling us is that even though price is continuing to go higher right now, the momentum behind these moves higher and higher is slowly dwindling away. And eventually, if we don't see a breakout of these downtrends here, this will lead to a turnaround in the market. We could see the market starting to reverse, heading back towards those lows of the day. And we don't want to take a bullish trade when the market starts going against us. So we want to definitely be careful with that. Keep that in the back of our minds as we're looking at different candidates, that we have the wind to our sails here. All right, so with that being said, we have over 90 people here right now. If you haven't already hit that like button, smash that like button, share it with all your friends, share it with all your family, tell everybody that you know to come hang out, learn how to make some money in the market, and also supporting the great cause there. And B. Shervin coming in as a new subscriber. Welcome, Shervin. Glad you could be here. Welcome to VV Nation. We're glad to have you. All right, so looking back at some of our candidates we were looking at, RX or RLX, ran up a little bit, pulling back, wait for the opportunity to come to you. Don't try to ever chase a trade. GLBE starting to run again. I like what we're seeing with that one. What is the other one we looked at? LGVN. LGVN seemed pretty volatile here, so that's where we're going to keep an eye on. Another candidate to keep an eye on here. Hit that support, bounced off. Let's see how it handles itself. Right now, what we're noticing with it, just zoom in. We do have the 3 and the 8 turning positive. We do have more buying volume coming in than selling volume. So the bulls seem to try to be, taking it higher from this point. But we do have, stochastics getting close to that overbought territory. We want to see DPO also turn into positive territory as well, confirming that move. From LGVN, let's go ahead. I'm trading LGVN. Let's go, Glenn. Let's make some money on LGVN. So zooming out, we definitely saw the weakness here, shot up here, pulling back right now off of those highs. But this has been a phenomenal run over the last few days where it's gone from 5 to 30. So it's been a 6xer. Pretty decent move so far already with this one. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one. This one will definitely be on our radar too here today. So let's see. We got Globe, RX, RX, RLX. I want to see if we can find some more interesting candidates here so far. Oh yeah, SOPA was another one we wanted to put on our list. So SOPA. Go ahead, see what that's doing right now. Woohoo! So SOPA looked like it got halted, pulling back a little bit. Maybe see a retest of 1435. Let's keep an eye on this one. This could be an interesting play right now. You see it did get halted. Zooming in a little bit. You have support once again at 1435 roughly. We're getting close to that zone. Keep an eye on how it handles this action here and see if new buying comes in. Because it looks like a lot of people got scared. A lot of people put some sell orders in to take their profits off the table, which caused the stock to drop. But as we saw yesterday with APOV, we sat through a few different halts. And as we know, when it gets halted, it usually does pull back a little bit. But then if it can turn around, we get some signals that, the buying or the selling pressure is starting to dissipate. Could be an interesting one to jump on board with early and take advantage of a next run. All right, check the 5-minute chart. Sure, we can take a look at the 5-minute chart. Let's go ahead and switch it up to the 5-minute real fast. Current day. So that's the thing, is a lot of people talk about 5-minute chart compared to, the 10-minute or the 1-minute charts. I like 1-minute charts because even though we see this, it still tells me the same story that we see with the 1-day or the 1-minute charts. So, different strokes for different folks. Personally, I prefer the 1-minute charts myself, but yeah, the 3 and the 8 are still intact. Everything still looks good on that aspect or that front. So let's keep an eye here. Sopa is simmering. Yeah, Sopa is definitely taking a little bit of a breather, but that's why we're keeping an eye on it. We're not into it quite yet, but we are seeing a little bit of a potential reversal trying to come in. Every single pullback that it's had so far, you're seeing it buying off of these lows, coming off of those lows that it's hit on those minutes, and then closing towards the upper part of that minute. So I definitely like seeing that aspect of it. I'm not jumping into it quite yet until I get a full reversal signal or some type of indication that, new buying is starting to jump into the trade. So that's where we currently sit. We had 3 down minutes, potential reversal here. First green minute since it got halted. Now let's see what we get from this minute here. This could be an early indication that, hey, people are starting to jump back in. It didn't drop nearly as much as most people were expecting it. Maybe this is a turnaround. So let's be patient. Wait for the trade to come to us. As always, we don't ever want to chase a trade. We want to let the trade come to us. So keep that in mind. Bill's saying, working with PIN. Let's go put that in here. Actually, we'll go here. PIN, Power Shares India. So, okay. Looking at it, this one, not a whole lot of liquidity to it, to be completely honest. Yes, it's oversold right now, but as we know, it can stay in oversold territory. One of the things I really see with this is a sideways channel between 29.34 and then the lows coming in right around 28.40. So until we can see a breakout one way or the other, which it looks like it may be trying to break out here today, but maybe too early to call, we want to be careful and be patient with this one. And TJ's coming in with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, TJ. Welcome. Welcome to VV Nation. Thank you for being part of this awesome community. Greatly appreciated. So everybody, show TJ some love as well. All right. Going back to some of our candidates here, back down to the 1435 level. Stochastics now finally getting close to that oversold threshold. Are we going to hold this support or are we going to break below it? Let's keep an eye on that. That's going to be the main question here right now. And patience is a virtue. As we learned yesterday, it takes patience to make money. So let's be patient with it here. Looking at volume. Volume is telling us the selling pressure is continuing. We want to be careful. Let's wait and see how this handles that 1435 level. Or 1430, what was that? 1435? Yeah, 1435. Now, another level of support that we could expect to see, maybe it to slow down or maybe a reversal coming in, 1367. 1367 doesn't play. Then coming down all the way to 1273. And that gets close to where we opened up at here today. So 1273, if it gets to that point, be very, very careful with that one. All right, so we'll keep coming back to that, see how it handles itself. RX just moving sideways right now. And Sanjay coming in as a new subscriber. Thank you very much, Sanjay. Welcome to VV Nation. Glad you could be here. That's right. Always got to have the Red Bull. Anybody who knows me or has been to any of my streams knows I always usually have one next to me at some point. So let's go through Sopa. Maybe trying to find support here. 1366. Are we going to find support at that level, or are we going to continue to drop? You know, if we don't hold this 1366 level, then I expect to see a lot more selling coming in, people getting fearful in the market, or people getting fearful in the trade and just, you know, moving along or moving on from this one. Hit that support, bouncing off a little bit. Let's see if we get follow through on this one. And if we get into this one, if we get follow through on this minute, we could potentially take the trade. I know I say it a lot. It's like trying to catch a falling knife, but at the same time, we have a decent level of support. We saw it hold nicely here. We saw it touch and then bounce off. But if we can't hold above that point, yes, things will probably continue to go lower. But if we can, that would be a strong sign that, you know, this is where people are looking for to jump on board. First dibs on turkey wings. There you go. Etsy has been a nice trade for the last hour. We could definitely take a look at Etsy. So keep your eyes peeled on this one. It seems to be trying to hold that 1366 level. And then once again, if we jump on board now, we have a tight stop or a line in the sand at that 1366 threshold. And then our next level that we're looking to see if we can break out of is 1435. All right, so starting to see a little bit of buying pressure coming in. Moving lower, maybe. I'm going to get my trade ticket ready just in case. I may cancel it because, you know, at this point, still moving lower, 3 and 8 are negative. But we are in oversold territory. We are moving lower right now. Or we are, you know, finding some support here. So let's be patient with this one. See what happens. So 1396. All right, I've got it ready. Let's see if this is going to hold. Doesn't look like it. Keeping a close eye on it. Because once again, this is something that if you guys haven't ever attended one of these, to put it in perspective, whenever you're day trading, you should always focus on that trade and that trade only. because that is where your money is. It can be a very, very fast trade. It could be a very slow trade. Depends on how the market reacts and how, new buying starts to kick in. But once you jump into a trade as a day trade, that is where all of your attention should be. Now, I know sometimes I get a little distracted. I, look from one place to the next, but I want to teach you guys out there proper trading methodologies, and I want to teach you guys proper behaviors to follow. And that is what we're doing here. So if we get into the trade, we'll simply, stay on that one for the time being. All right, we're starting to see a little bit of consolidation around that line. Let's see. So 1380. Let's see if we can get 1380. I'm looking at volume. Volume so far is not really confirming too much that a new opportunity is coming on board. But now it's starting to pick up a little bit. 1390. Let's see if we can get it 1390. Do you want 2 green volume bars before the trade? I mean, it depends. I want to see new buying coming in. That's really what I want to see. Not necessarily, certain amount, but I want to see the pattern. I want to see a bigger increase in the buying there. And right now, we're not quite seeing that here. Okay. Let's go 14. Oh. As you can see, it came here, retraced, retested that resistance, pulling back a little bit. There's 14, 1390. Let's do this. Let me see if I can 1385. I'm going to put it in for 1385, see if I get filled. Etsy just got out 388. All right, so I've got the order in for that one. Let me go ahead, check it. So 1385, there it is, 1385. Should have gotten filled. There we go. All right, 1385 in. Let's see it. And now, as always, exit strategy, 1366. Hopefully, what we're looking to see, we saw new buying coming in here, maybe resetting up, so taking a little bit of time moving between this channel. Maybe, and what we want to see is it break out of 1435. If we break that 1435 threshold, then it's off to the races once again. So that's what we're keeping an eye on here so far. All right, up 2% so far in the trade. I like starting off with a little bit of green here. And let's go ahead. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over to the side so I can keep an eye on that. I'm going to zoom in here, detach this. Actually, I'll pull it over here. Keeping an eye on that trade. And let's go ahead and take a look at Etsy real fast. ETSY. All right, so David is saying, jumped into Etsy, 388 cross, took your profit. Whoo, that's had a decent run here today. Let's go zoom in real fast. So Etsy, been running in hot territory, overbought territory based on stochastics from, where was that time frame? Let's see. 11:05 up until the high at 11:52. So about a 45-minute move. And that is a nice steady run. Well done, David. If you took your profits, congrats. Well done. Look at that selling pressure. Looks like following that 388 made you some decent money here. So 388 can definitely be a advantageous pair of moving averages to use, especially when day trading. So congrats on those gains. I like seeing those gains here. Looking at Sopa right now. We've tested once, twice, potentially 3 times here. We want to see a break. We're starting to see more buying coming in rather than selling coming in. Let's see if we can break above that 1435 and start to run once again. Let's go, Sopa. As always, for everybody who was here yesterday, the Sopa, or whenever you talk to your trade, it tends to help. So you may hear me talking to my trade, telling it what to do. As you saw yesterday, it definitely can help out. And since we've got a lot of new people tuning in, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to type in Turkey in the chat while we're waiting for this trade to develop. That way you can enter in for your chance to win the access to the Tampa 2-day event coming up in January. So make sure if you haven't already won and you haven't already typed in Turkey in the chat, type that in now. Okay, so Sopa almost broke out here, pulling back a little bit. Selling volume is pretty light so far though. Let's see if we can get back above that point, start to move higher from here. There we go. Starting to see, want to make sure everybody has a chance. So if you haven't already, make sure to type in Turkey in the chat so that way you get an opportunity to win free access to the Tampa 2-day event coming up very, very soon. Okay, so following it. Selling volume still relatively light compared to what we've seen. So nothing out of the ordinary, nothing telling us that, the tides are changing here. Telling us right now, just be patient. And if we start to move higher from here, we could potentially, actually I'm going to use this line. We could potentially see this 1393 level become a new support floor. If we can get back above, there we go. Trying to get back above that. But what you're seeing is a little bit of consolidation over these last few minutes. So 1393 could actually be our line that we move up. Got to be patient though and see if it truly establishes itself or if 1366 is really the floor that we're looking for here. There we go. All right, so let's see how this plays out. Let's keep it going. Come on, Sopa, start to make us some money. Let's get a bounce off of that support. Head back to that 1435, retest that, and let's get a breakout here today. Kick off this week right before Thanksgiving. Kick it off the right way with some extra gains in our portfolios here. All right, so we've got that. Keeping an eye on it so far. 3 and the 8 starting to converge a little bit. Shows that the momentum to the downside is starting to dissipate. Definitely what we want to see with this. Looking at the DPO. DPO steadily finding a floor here. We're seeing that downtrend starting to dissipate as well, confirming with that. Looking at stochastics, we're seeing stochastics hitting potentially a higher low. That's a good sign. Let's see if we can get back up above 14, go back to those 1435 levels. And as we know, this can take some time to develop. It's had a pretty significant run here. You saw it consolidate before that push higher. For what time frame was that? Let's see, 11:18 all the way until 11:35. So about 20 minutes on that one of consolidation before we saw a breakout. We want to see the breakout. We've been in here for now. What time frame is this? 11:51. And right now it's 12:04. So we've seen consolidation for about 10, 15 minutes or so. What we want to see, we just got to be patient. Let the trade develop. Don't try to, jump out too early. Wait for the trade to fully develop here. Hey, Marie, it's all good. Thank you for being here. We're glad to, you're a part of VV Nation. So, hey, no worries there. Let's see. Let's be patient with this one. Come on. Volume on the decline. Volume has been lightening up a little bit. Let's see what this volume tells us here. Still lower than what we've seen. Let's get back above that point. All right, so we had the breakdown. If we don't climb back above that point by this minute, we're going to go ahead and close out. Get my order ready just in case. I want to see that new buying coming in. I want to see a big spike in volume. If we're going to have any confidence that it's going to get back above that 1366 level, we need to see some big buying volume coming in. Be patient. Is that a head and shoulders pattern? Kind of. It's more sideways. Typically, a shoulder is more defined, more of an arc. This isn't really an arc here, but you could make that case. It could potentially be a head and shoulders. But then again, we have that neckline here. All right, so buying volume came in a little lackluster here. We did slow down, but buying volume is still lackluster. Let's go ahead, get our order ready. Getting back above, back into that channel there. Is it going to hold though? That's the main question. 1370, 1372. Buying pressure starting to come in a little bit. Let's see where we're going to finish off at here. Coming up to the last of the minute, right under that point. All right. So we see that. We see a rejection at that level. Buying pressure had been picking up, but we did see some selling coming in that last second. Want to be careful with this one. I have my order ready to go just in case. $13.95. Let's keep an eye on this. Come on. Turkey pattern. Yeah, you could kind of make a turkey out of this one. All right, so SLI calls at 10. Roger coming in with the $25 super chat. Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you for all your support. VV Nation, show them some love there. SLI calls at 10 and shares strong today. We can take a look at SLI here in a second. I know we looked at it a moment ago, but let's take a look at it here in a moment. Let's get out of this trade, and then we'll jump into, or we'll take a look at SLI for you. All right, be impatient right now. Be impatient. It's back in that channel. Broke above, pulled back, retested. Let's see if we can get follow through on this minute here. Come on, Sopa. Let's go. All right, so while we're waiting on this, let's see. A 1 in chat if you're in on this with me. 2 in chat if you're not. It's fine if you're not. Don't worry. You don't have to feel like you're being pressured. Just kind of curious to see anybody else jumped on board with this. All right, just being patient right now. That pullback for a retest, light volume. So mixed right now. See a few people with me on this one. Okay. All right, let's see if we can hold that 1366. Come on, volume is light. This slight pullback tells us the buying is still outpacing the selling. Let's get a pop here. Reverse that downtrend, because right now, if we can hold this 1366 floor, this is extremely important for the trade for multiple reasons. One other reason why this is extremely important, that 1366 holding here, is because if we do hit that point and then bounce off of this, that would be setting us up for a higher low. And as we talk about, higher lows tends to lead to higher highs. So that's what we're waiting for here, seeing if it can hold that 1366 floor can be established, and then we start to move higher from there with a new uptrend forming. That's what we're really focused on, paying attention to it. So I see more people in with me than out. Glad to have you guys all in the trade. Let's see if this can make some money here today. going with SRTY. SRTY is not a bad opportunity. We looked at that yesterday. I liked what I saw with SRTY. We'll take a look here at the market just in a moment, though. Waiting to get out of this channel, establishing a new higher low. Let's see if we can blast off, retest that 1435, and once again start to head higher to the 15, 16 range. Any of that will be good. Maria's asking, where's the donation? It's at the bottom of the chat. It has that little dollar sign there. That's what you can use to send through a super chat, which will go directly towards the final total for the Levine's Children's Hospital. Also, Toys for Tots as well. SLI got me early. Yeah, let's wait till this trade is finished, and then we'll take a look at the SLI for you, Troy. Sorry. All right, so Sopa, volume definitely lightening up, but any new buying volume coming in would definitely push us up and out of this sideways channel here. We're holding for the time being. 1385, 1370. Come on, let's break. I need Glenn in here to start singing. I feel like we can get Glenn in here to sing the Kit Kat song. All right, focused on that one. Come on, let's get off of this level of support. Let's go back to retesting that level of resistance here. 1435, any moment now. 1435 coming up, 1435 coming up. Come on, finishing a doji, so pull back doji off of that trend or that support floor. Next move higher. Here we go. How's the BSR? Buy to sell ratio, let's see. Actually, let me do this. I can pull it up here. Keep an eye on this here on my side screen. Let's go into the home page. Buy to sell ratio is red. Buy to sell ratio is at 0.76, telling us there's a little bit more sells than buys currently. RT still down, but that's the thing is what we're looking at is an intraday trade. That's why we're not getting into any swing trades there. So when we talked about at the very beginning, whenever we look at jumping on board, we want to make sure that the market's moving in our favor. And right now for longer term, like swing trades or long-term trades, we don't have the market moving in our favor. In fact, we have a red light in the price and a red light in the buy to sell ratio. And we just got a confirmed down call a few days ago. Also, one other thing to point out, since we don't have our mobile coaching sessions tomorrow, I'll point it out here. When looking at the MTI, there's a saying here at VectorVest, and that's keep your eye on the MTI. And there's two main levels we always want to focus on with the MTI. On the lower end, that's the level between 0.6 and 0.7. That's when we start to see the market starting to look for a bottom. And then on the upper end, that's 1.5 to 1.6, generally shows the market starting to look for a top. So we've seen the market going back here, 1.54. Well, that's right in that range of 1.5 to 1.6. Generally, that's usually when the market starts looking for a top. What has the market done since that point? Started pulling back here. And now we're at 0.96. Not quite to those levels of 0.6 to 0.7. So therefore, we still have more room to go to the downside before we get to that point that really shows us, hey, things are looking decent. We should keep an eye out for some bottom fishing opportunities or some opportunities to buy in close to those bottoms. So we still have more room to the downside rather than room to the upside right now. And Maria's coming in with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Maria. Everybody, show Maria some love. Thank you, Maria. Once again, appreciate all of the donations. They are greatly appreciated here, and they are going to go towards a great cause. So thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody, once again for hanging out with me here today. All right, so getting back to Sopa. Sopa's still just holding in there right now, moving sideways. Waiting to see, there we go, starting to turn around, waiting to see new buying pressure coming in. Right now, volume has been drying up a little bit, which is typically what you're going to see after a big sell-off or after a pullback. And that is, consolidation here. Giving confirmation of consolidation especially. We're waiting to see if we can break above that point. There we go, starting to move higher here. Appreciate that, Maria. Thank you once again. Once again, everybody, show Maria some love. Thank you, Maria. All right, there we go. Let's see. Are we going to get confirmation of volume? Volume is conviction. You'll hear Glenn say it. You hear myself say it. Volume is conviction. So whenever we look down here at the bottom, what we're looking for is a big spike in volume, and then we look at the candle from there. The reason why is because when there's a big spike in volume, that tells us a lot of trading activity is going on. People are making transactions around that point. So with that being said, when you look at that, that's when you want to look at the candle, because the candle tells us a lot of information about everybody's, or the psychology of people in it. So right now, you're seeing strong volume, especially relative to what it's been trading at. You're seeing a big up moment coming into the close of that minute. It's going to hold. There you go. So that's a strong sign. That's the reversal sign, or that's new buying pressure coming in. That tells us the bulls are leading the charge right now with this one. And let's see if we can get some follow through on that next minute here. 1435 once again is resistance. We're in 1385, so we have a decent gain already, a little over 2.5% roughly. But if we break out of this 1435, expect to see some decent gains start to roll in very, very quickly here. So let's get it. There we go. 1450, 5%, 4%, bouncing around. Getting some new buying pressure coming in. That's what we want to see. Let's go. Hold above that 1435 level. That's what we're looking for, is a hold above that point. Volume is strong on the breakout. That's what you want to see. 1435 coming down right there. Bouncing off. Come on. Hold above it. 2 more seconds. Can it do it? And we held above. Retest. Retest and blast off. I'm at Chick-fil-A watching. Well, hopefully you're enjoying your Chick-fil-A, Glenn. You're supposed to be having turkey this time of year, not chicken there, Glenn. SOP on a rope-a-dope. I like that, Jay. I like that. All right, so retest, holding 1435, bounce off. Even though we're seeing a pullback right now, look at volume. Volume is low right now, telling us that selling pressure right now isn't very strong. The buying here is definitely outweighing the selling coming in. So bulls are still in the lead, or in charge right now on this trade. That's where we want to be. We want to have momentum, and we want to have the traders on our side with this. All right, 1420. Let's go. Let's get back above. Keep an eye on volume. Volume is still pretty light here. Let's go. Let's move higher. 1418. Blast off coming on this minute. I feel it. I just feel it. We're going to break 1435. We're going to break that 1450 level especially, and then move higher from there. I can feel it. This minute's coming up. Weak selling. Let's go. Let's move higher. Everybody who missed out on this part, buying in right now. You got the FOMO crew coming in. Be patient. Bounce off. And realistically, we can move our line of sand up to this 1390 level. It was resistance here. That big spike broke through. It's holding. It came back, retested 1390. 3 and 8 are still positive. DPOs finally turning into positive territory. Stochastics staying right where we want them. Come on, time to bounce and move higher. And even right now, after a pullback, I'll take a doji or, a hammer reversal sign here. I'll take any one of those just to indicate momentum is waning after that pullback and expecting a blast off very, very soon. But right now, we're still holding in nicely. 1390 is now our support. As we talked about earlier, we got in at 1385. So once you start to see profits in your position, always move your stops up to make sure you're locking profits in. And that's what we're doing. 1390 now puts us in the green if we closed out at that point. A small win, but rather take a small win than letting it turn into a loss. So that's what we're focused on right now. Zooming in here, I like what we're seeing. Pulled back. Here's that reversal sign. Volume is weak. because selling was weak off of that. And now I want to see the volume start to pick back up and retest that 1435, retesting those highs from a few minutes ago at 1450. So Joey is here informing us, last call for turkey. Once again, if you haven't already if you haven't already entered in the giveaway, make sure to type in turkey in the chat there for your chance to win access to the Tampa 2-day event coming up in January. If you can't type in anything, that means you're not subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Click on that red button in the bottom right-hand corner. Subscribe to the channel now. VectorVest will not only make a donation on your behalf towards our fundraising event here, our Trading for Charity event, but also you can then enter in to win some excellent prizes there. So make sure, if you haven't already, type in turkey into the chat there. All right, 1390 on weak volume. Look at that volume. Volume is drying up left and right here. Turkey too. There you go. So hold, bounce off. Let's move higher. We were looking at this trade. We were looking at resistance at 1435 from here. We saw some potential support down here. We moved that line of sand up, retested it again, holding right now. We do have a new uptrend forming. We have higher lows being formed and now higher highs as well. So I like everything we're seeing with this setup so far. On that pullback, volume is light, telling us, hey, there's not a whole lot of selling pressure. The bulls still have the lead. 3 and 8 are potentially reversing, but if we get some buying pressure coming in, that could easily reverse that back up. And that's what we're looking for here. Zooming in. Actually, we'll zoom in here. There we go. All right, now we're starting to see the turkeys, making sure everybody's signed up. And as always, with any giveaway that we do here, to win, you have to be here when we announce the winner, so that way we can get you all hooked up there. All right, happy Turkey Day. Happy Turkey Day to you, Jim. Hopefully you're doing well here today. All right, holding 1390. Let's go. Volume drying up here. Buying coming in here. No selling pressure coming in here. The trade is still intact. Everything is looking good so far. DPO, really just moving sideways right now. No real clear trend since we are moving sideways as well over the last few minutes. So expect to see DPO right around that neutral level here. Come on, boys and girls. Let's get Sopa moving higher here. Let's get a push. Shares you like to start with? For what? I mean, so Troy, one of the things that VectorVest talks about time and time again is dollar weighting rather than share weighting. Dollar weighting is a lot more effective in the sense that, if let's say you had 10 grand, you split it into five stocks evenly. That's 2 grand in each stock. All your positions are weighted the same. So if one stock goes up X amount, one stock goes down X amount, then your portfolio, they both have equal weighting on how much they're going to affect the portfolio. Whereas if you're, trying to buy, or if you're share weighting it and you have a stock that, let's say you buy shares you buy 100 shares of each stock. Well, if the price is $1,000 like Tesla, then that is quite a lot of money going into that one. And then let's say you put, 100 shares of this, that's only $1,300. So that $1,300 is going to have barely any impact on the portfolio compared to that one that you bought, 100 shares of, that's $1,000 a share. So be careful with that. That is one thing. So we typically advocate, once again, for dollar weighting your portfolio rather than, share weighting or anything around those lines. That way one position doesn't, if one position goes against you, it doesn't dramatically affect your portfolio. Let's see. Okay. Didn't miss anything. Making sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So right now, this portfolio that we're using here for our Trading for Charity event started with 5 grand. Right now we've made almost 7% so far in the portfolio. We did have to do some changes to it a few days ago. We were up more than that. Unfortunately, there was an issue with one of the portfolios and they had to reset things. So we started from scratch yesterday, and with that big gain that we had with APOV, that's helped us gain some quick profits in the portfolio relatively fast here. All right, so still holding in that 1390 level. Looking at volume, volume is still insignificant right now, telling us it's still consolidating, waiting for new activity to start picking up here. There we go. Bruce Morgan has won the giveaway. Congratulations, Bruce. If you are here, let us know in the chat. That way we can make sure we get you hooked up there. Bruce, if you are here, let us know. All right, so Sopa. All right, Sopa's starting to break. Keeping an eye on the trade. We've been here before. We don't react. We don't have a knee-jerk reaction. Rule number 1, don't overreact to a move. Wait for follow-through, wait for confirmation. Because as we know, it can quickly reverse and start to change pretty much instantaneously. All right, Bruce is here. Awesome. So Bruce, what you got to do, just send us an email to connect@VectorVest.com, and we will make sure we get you all hooked up with that Tampa 2-day event. So make sure to email us at connect@VectorVest.com. Congratulations, by the way, and thank you for all your continued support. Glad you're here with us today. There we go. This is why we don't overreact. Pulled back, starting to pick back up again. It didn't like being below that level there that we put our line in the sand for. So I like what we're seeing with this. There we go. Getting back to that 1390 level. Once again, our initial support floor came in at 1360. Where was it? 1362, 1366, I believe. Yeah, 1366 was our initial support floor. So we came back down, retested that initial support floor. Still have a higher low here. By definition, still in an uptrend. Have a higher high here. By definition, still in an uptrend. So I like what we're seeing with this one. Back to where we were. This is why we don't overreact on any sort of move one way or the other. We wait, be patient, wait for follow through. You know, trading is a lot better when you're not emotional about it. And that's what we're doing. We're not taking an emotional approach. We're being patient and letting the trades come to us, and we're planning our trade and trading our plan. All right, let's see. Come on, get back above 1370, bounce off. It's coming back to retest that 1366 level. Starting to move higher. Let's go. Bounce off, get back above 1390. Let's see those 1450s again. Right back to retesting support one more time. Reloading up. Waiting to see that pop back higher here. Right at 1366, right at that support floor. Whew. Even if I tried to predict it better, I don't think I could. 1366, come on. Bounce. Let's go higher. You know you want to. You know you want to. Let's see. Interestingly enough, extended lines. Let's go ahead and draw some trend lines here. Actually, I'll move that down a little bit. Move that over. Bring this down a little bit here. All right, let's see how that trend line, delete that. All right, so trend line's starting to intersect a little bit. Now, typically I don't like getting too many lines on the graph because that can just be overwhelming, confusing. And while they look pretty, it's not necessarily, the most effective methodology. As you guys know, my whole trading style is simplistic. I try to keep as little on the graph as possible with still getting, powerful information coming to me. So by understanding what candlesticks represent, what they mean, you can gain a lot of insight there. Having a lot of lines like support resistance here can get overwhelming. Trend line, just using a simple trend line is a great way of going about it. But then overbought, oversold, and then a momentum indicator pretty much covers everything I need to know. Where should my stop loss be? So love, right now, 1366 is our final line in the sand. We're waiting to see with volume lightening up here. There's not a whole lot of activity going on. We're being patient. We may be early, but so far we don't seem to be wrong. We're just, without volume really confirming any of these down moves, there still, just seems to be consolidation currently. Now, zooming in, is volume picking back up? Let's go ahead, zoom in. So where's this low? 1346. We're at 1346 right now. Back above, back below, back above, back below. It's a fight between the bulls and the bears currently. Let's see though, who's going to win? 1 minute doesn't make a trend. Wait for that second minute for confirmation or follow through. This is that confirmation minute that we're looking for here. We want to see it break back above, start to move higher. Zoom back in. Come on, let's get a bounce. Volume is very, very light. Volume is extremely light from where we're at right now. This is going to turn red. Got a couple more seconds on this minute. What are we going to get? Reversal. $1,000 a week is the equivalent to not needing a real job. That is very true. Or another goal, for looking at it from a different view. If you can make 1% a day, that's 250% because there's roughly 250 trading days in a year. That's 250% a year. So that's another great way of going about it, especially when you combine compounded rate of return. You can get a decent gain even with a smaller portfolio very, very quickly there. All right. Bill Weaver coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Bill. Welcome. Thank you for all your support. Thank you, Bill. All right. Come on, Sopa. Volume is light. You saw strong volume here, little volume here. Come on. Don't negate the pattern. All right. You're going to do it to me. That's what I'm going to have to do. Fine. You're not going to react the way you wanted to or the way you should have. We're going to get at it. We're going to close out of the position. Preview the order. Take our loss, move on. You got to be able to admit when you're wrong. So cut your loss quickly, move on. All right, let's go back, see what else we have. So where was the other one we wanted to take a look at? We looked at Etsy. Let's go ahead, take a look at some of the others. GLOB or GLBE. Still just moving sideways. LGVN. LGVN could be setting up again. All right, so LGVN right now, you have resistance 3250 or 3263. Some support down here. It's just about to reverse and run. Probably. Most likely. That would be my luck. But hey, you know what? Once you're out of the trade, don't even worry about it. Move on. No need to go back and think about it. If the trade didn't pan out, it's just a trade. Don't get emotional with it. So that's the way we're going to treat it. We're not going to get emotional with it. We're going to be moving on. Hey, minimize that loss quickly. Jump onto that next trade that we're looking for here. I have no problem admitting that, hey, the trade didn't work out. That's fine. Because it's not all about making every single trade. Remember, even the most complicated or advanced AIs out there, like their algorithmic trading and all that, still only wins about 75% of the time. So even the best computers that are trading out there don't even win 100% of the time. that means it's not all about just winning. It's about risk management, managing your position properly, and knowing when to cut your loser quickly and let your winners run. And that's what we're doing here with that one. So we cut it. Moving on. Let's go see if we can get a run out of one of these that we've been looking at. RLX, I like what we're seeing with this one. You have support at 561. Volume is getting a little bit lighter here, though. So you want to be careful with this one. You see a little bit of selling pressure. Let's keep an eye on it. Realistically, I'd move that up. 563 would be my line to stand. It's about a 2-cent down move from here. And you'd have, resistance right here at 571. Keeping an eye on that one. I like the potential setup. I need to see new buying coming in. LGVN. So if we were to take this trade right now, yes, it's in this consolidation. I want to see it break 32.63. If it can break 32.63, you can bet a new run is coming in. All right, starting to break. Get this ready, just in case. There we go. Pull that up. Is it failing to hold though? 32, 38. Is it failing or is it rejecting that resistance level? Let's keep an eye on it. Being patient. Seeing some buying coming in. Looking at the volume. Volume is starting to pick back up as we're making this run higher here. 32. $31.90, 32. Looking at our indicators, stochastics isn't overbought, but as we know, it can stay in overbought. So we want to be patient, see if it can start to run and stay in that overbought territory. $13.66. So yeah, it was $13.66. We closed below that. Waited for that confirmation minute. We didn't get follow through, so that confirmation minute we sold out. But $13.66 was our line in the sand. We broke below that 1 point and then waited for follow through to see if we were going to continue to move lower. We did, and that's when we got out. So had that confirmation minute, pulled the trigger on confirmation minute there. All right, pulling back a little bit. Let's zoom. Let's keep an eye on it here. I'm looking at volume. Volume has been relatively light. Pulling back on this. Looking for new buying volume coming in. Right now, cup and handle. I know a lot of people talk about a cup and handle pattern a lot. You hear investors talking about it. It's probably one of the most commonly known patterns that everybody talks about. But in actual trading, a cup and handle pattern is very difficult to ever be able to point out in real time. It's great to go back and look at and say, oh yeah, there it was. That was definitely it. But in actuality, it's extremely hard to be able to point out in real time. What we're seeing right now, potentially a cup and handle. I know it's hard to define, but you have the cup right here, pulling back potentially for that handle. Let's keep an eye on it. If we can break that handle, that would be the opportunity we're looking for. So 31.85 right now is where it's right around. Because we have a second run on this. This could definitely be an explosive mover here. We're going to hold. All right, I'm going to cancel out of that just so I can zoom in a little bit. Keep a better look at what's going on. Selling pressure, pulling down. Yeah, right now, rejected that resistance right at 32.62 or 32.63. Pulling back. So this point, I'm being patient, not jumping on board quite yet. Let's go take a look at that other one, why that's developing. RLX, there you go. So that's starting to break through that resistance. 571. Let's go ahead. I like the setup with this one. Volume starting to get or pick up a little bit. See if we can get another one here today. All right, there we go. Go next. All right, put an order in for 575. Once again, 4-cent move to the downside. Decent upside potential though. Small risk, high reward. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing here. Looking for low risk, which 4-cent, definitely a low risk move. Let's go ahead and see if we got in. Should be coming through, waiting to reconcile the order. There we go. RLX got in, 575. Right now, up 1/3%. We have 571 as our support floor. Resistance we have here at 578. Volume starting to pick up. I like seeing that. Zooming out a little bit. Had a nice run, pull back, a healthy correction, and now another second run up here. So let's go. Let's break 578, start to hit a new high for the day. Looking at volume. Volume starting to pick back up. Keeping an eye on it. 577, 570, getting close to that 578. Come on, let's go. Breakout. And then if it breaks out, that's when you start to see the ramp up, essentially, when price action starts going a little bit faster, and that's getting into our pace that we're looking for here. All right, 575, 576, 577. Let's go. Let's break 578 here. Buying volume has definitely been strong on this one. Continue to move higher. 577. So Glenn's still in LGVN. 575. Come on. Keep an eye on volume here. Let's go. Let's break 575. Let's break 578. Let's see 580. Actually, I'll go back here, zoom in a little bit. Back down to that support floor, 571. Come on. 571. Hold above 571. All right. I don't like that move right there. That was on stronger volume. Be patient. This would be confirmation minute right here. So fortunately, it rejected that 580 level, 578. 1 minute pulled back to that retest of support at 571. This would be confirmation of it. Are we going to get confirmation, or are we going to get rejection off of that support, start to move higher from here? The buying pressure, though, there's been a lot of buying pressure all in this run right here. Come on, let's go. Let's move higher from here. Even at this stage, right now, with support the way it is at 571, puts us down less than 1%. Small minimal loss. Do you teach a shorter stock? Yeah. The only issue is with this account, it's set up with Ally, and Ally doesn't have the best inventory for shorting. There's a lot of brokers out there that are known for their inventory that they have. What is it? Interactive Brokers is well known in the community for having a high or a strong inventory. TD Ameritrade, another big one, and a few others. So those would be the ones that, you know, if you're going to be shorting, you'd look for a broker that typically has a high inventory. And right now with Ally doesn't have a strong inventory to borrow from. So shorting becomes a lot more difficult to be able to locate those shares to be able to short them. So that is one thing. That's the only issues. We've tried shorting a few stocks here, but unfortunately the orders have not been, or we haven't been able to get filled because the inventory is low. All right. So broke down, got confirmation. Time to get out. Let's go ahead, set the order up. So 568. Let's see. Getting ready to pull the trigger, preview the order. All I gotta do is click on the mouse and it's gone. But what is this minute gonna do? Let's keep an eye on this minute here. Looks interesting. Seeing a lot of back and forth going on. Looking at the volume. Volume is definitely picking up a little bit. You're seeing a back and forth between the bulls and the bears at this stage. All right, be patient. We're going to get back to that 571. $569. $570. Because even at this stage, down less than 1% at 569. Totally manageable there. So, Troy, one thing is, when shorting stocks, don't look at it as, oh, you know, shorting, it's this miraculous thing, or it's this, you know, really complicated thing. It doesn't need to be. The best way to look at shorting is just an inverse of what you typically do. Typically, most investors buy and then they sell. Well, with a short, you sell and then you buy. So as long as you follow proper risk management, you follow your charts, follow your trades, it doesn't matter what you do. And, you know, as long as you have your plan in place, that theoretical unlimited loss will never really affect you because you have your plan in place. If it doesn't go your way, you cut your loss quickly and then move on. If it does go your way, you save it until it reaches your, you know, your gain that you're looking for, your exit point, and then you move on from there. So, you know, as long as it's not a buy and hold type of strategy when you're shorting stocks, but as long as you have a plan, just like you do with your long trades, shorting stocks is no different than buying and selling the long side, except you may have a little bit of an issue borrowing depending on your broker. Into the sell order at your limit. So Ravi, I was using my charts. I had my limit. I had my line in the sand there. It broke, and then I put a limit in after that on that confirmation minute at the close at that confirmation minute, and that's where I got out at. So, let's see. All right. Actually, let's do this. There we go. All right. Got my order in. Should be triggering any moment now. Waiting for the confirmation. Come on. Refresh it. Waiting for that confirmation order showing that it was sold. All right, while we're waiting for that, let's go take a look. LGVN. So LGVN came tumbling back down, back to that support floor, holding right now at 30, trying to break down below that point. LGVN, we tried shorting, but unfortunately, we're not able to get filled with that one. Why have I not got confirmation of that yet? RLX. Come on. Let's see. It should have filled at that point. Let's adjust it. What? We'll just do it current price. Pending. There we go. All right. Pending. Confirmation. Come on, confirmation. Why is it not going through? All right, one moment here. Actually, that should be getting filled any moment now. I'm not too worried about that one. The order should be going through any moment. All right, RX. So this one had a great run. Keep an eye on that. GLBE, Sopa. So Sopa, going back to it to help you out, Robbie. Let's go ahead, zoom in. Delete this. And Matthew coming in with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Matthew. Thank you. Glad you could be here today. All right, so looking at Sopa. At 1366, we had our line in the sand right down here at the bottom. When is the long trading session? So, Sandeep, this is we're doing a lot of day trading. We did some swing trades. We've had some swing trades in there, but yeah, right now we're just day trading, especially with the holiday coming up. We don't have good opportunity to buy for a swing trade based off the market timing. So right now, taking advantage of the intraday trends. And that's what we're doing. So this isn't, a trading session. It's a trading for charity event where, I'm doing some live trading. If you guys have questions on your potential or, your trading or ways of improving them, you can feel free to ask me. I'd be glad to help answer those for you. But this is really to bring attention to the trading for charity event where we're raising money for Toys for Tots, also Levine's Children's Hospital. So that is the main purpose of what we're doing here. And then you guys being able to win awesome prizes and learning how to improve your investing is just an added bonus. So yeah, this isn't like a scheduled coaching session that we typically do here at VectorVest. This is, a fun or a charity stream that we're doing. It's kind of like an extra little added piece for you guys out there, all while helping a great cause there. All right, so 1366 was our threshold. So we broke down here, waited for confirmation. Didn't get confirmation on that. Started moving higher. Came down, broke down here, waited for confirmation. Didn't get confirmation on that minute. So then there we go. Cut the loss right then and there. Finally subscribes. Could pay, but not yet. Hey, no problem, Matthew. Glad you could join us. Welcome to VB Nation. We're glad to have you here. Thank you for all your support. All right, so that's what, Robbie, to answer your question, that's what we're doing with that. That's why we waited. We broke down, waited for confirmation, didn't get confirmation, got followed through that third minute. So that's where we cut our loss, moved on. So hopefully that helps answer that question a little bit. Just because it taps or hits that line, if you placed a sell limit order in, exactly at 1366, every time it just kissed it and then bounced off, you'd most likely get, or you get your shares taken away. So that's why I don't put in a sell limit order in exactly at 1366, and I do it manually, especially if we're going to be day trading, because You know, it's not 1 minute doesn't make a trend. Just because it touches that doesn't make the trade invalid. It's when you get follow through on the next minute, that's what gives you confirmation and tells you, hey, right now you got follow through, you broke down below that trend, the trend is starting to turn against us, so therefore that's the time to cut your loss. So hopefully that answers your question better for you. Ugly TD, I'm going back. Yeah, I haven't had Weeble yet, Matthew, but I've had Robinhood. I was on the beta testing for Robinhood before they released officially for their app. I have TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. I've looked at an IB, Ally. I'm trying to think of all the other ones. I haven't seen, I guess it's better to go with the ones I haven't looked at really, which would be Fidelity I haven't ever looked at. And what's the other ones? There's a few smaller ones that I've never been part of, but out of the major ones, Fidelity's about the only major broker that I've never actually seen or interacted with. So, but yeah, TD, I love TD's mobile app. Their customer service and some of the functionality, as I stated before, since they went with, since Schwab bought them out, has kind of declined. But overall, I like the TD or Thinkorswim app. All right. So going back to it, LGVN breaking. This would be one breaking to the downside. You know, we can try it. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a short trade here. Last time I tried this, we weren't able to get shares to borrow, but we can try today. Let's see, 29.70. 29.65, because I'm going to pull this up so that way everybody can see it. 30. Let's go 30, preview order. So shares not available with Ally, unfortunately. And that's what we tried the other day on that big down day it had. I guess it was yesterday. We tried finding shares to short. Unfortunately, they were not available to take advantage of. So that is the issue with shorting. Brokerages are different. Every brokerage is different. You know, some have larger inventories. Some are discounts where it's, you know, like Weeble or Robinhood, where, you know, they're just basically there to place your trades through. They're not really known for large inventory. You know, there's a lot of different functions and features with each one. And that's why it, you know, it differs from person to person on which broker would be best for you. Because there's so many different features and functions that people need to fit your personal preferences and fit your, you know, your exact situation there. All right, so Sava on a daily, looking good. Nice steady run. You saw a big push higher just recently. Do see a little bit of weakness on a temporary short-term pullback potentially. Potential lines to look for if you're not already into it. Weak level of resistance at 54.28. Realistically coming down to 53. That's where I'd be looking for, you know, as a new entry point on it. You have a double top here essentially. Stochastic starting to drop. DPO starting to drop. You know, from a short-term perspective, 3 and the 8 are turning negative. Volume is starting to turn more bearish. Could be in for a temporary pullback, but on a day, for the day so far, it's doing extremely well. Looking at it on the end of day basis, let's go zoom out to a 6 month. 6 month, not so pretty. Been steadily hitting lower highs and lower lows. Granted, you do have a potential floor at 42. You know, you're hitting a higher potential low right here relative to where we'd been at, but steep selling pressure majority of the time. Stochastics tells us we're in oversold territory. DPO just moving sideways. Haven't really seen any confirmation of a turnaround or some short-term momentum to the upside on a daily yet. One to keep an eye on, but maybe not the best entry right now. Also, once again, let's take a look at market timing. Dow is still in the red. NASDAQ's turned back into the green. S&P's turned back into the green. VectorVest composite basically flat. So we're just bouncing back and forth. green and red and green and red and green and red all day long. Looking at the buy to sell ratio. Buy to sell ratio is still 1-to-1. So we have a mixed bag or a mixed signal with what we're seeing here in the overall market. Let's see. Shorted it for, let's go, Sava. Sava would be an interesting short for a day trade to short it. That would not be a bad opportunity to look at. You definitely have some room to pull back on before you see any sort of support coming in. So I like what we have with this play. Let's keep an eye on it. See if the 3 and the 8 turn negative. I like the bearish divergence. Let's be patient. You know what? Let's see if we can jump in with Matthew here. Where is it? 56.30. And of course, Ally does not have any shares available. Yeah, unfortunately, Ally has no shares available to jump on board. But look at that. You have divergence coming up shortly. If it finishes the way it is right now, you have a lot of selling pressure coming into that minute. Let's see how it's going to finish, though. So a little bit of buying coming into the last section, last minute, but keep an eye on it. So line in the sand, just on the inverse. Basically, what you're looking for is just the inverse of what we looked at before. You have resistance right here, 56.95 or 59. If it breaks that point, then yeah, most likely we're going to see it hit higher highs and higher lows still, because it's been a nice uptrend most of the day. But at the same time, if it rejects this resistance and it starts to fall away, then we look at those lower targets for our profit targets for the short side. Can you look at CLVS? Sure. CLVS. So Clovis, Wall Street bet stock right here. Let's go zoom out real fast. Clovis at 331. So Clovis over the last 6 months, steadily moving lower. You had a sideways trend, then started decreasing again. Looking at the daily, yesterday you had some decent volume. Let's zoom in. Oh, delete that. Let's go pull this up. You had strong volume relative to what it's been trading at. So that's a good sign. That's the first sign that you want to see. But you also want something to confirm that. Whether it be like a 3 and the 8 exponential moving average starting to turn positive, or the short-term moving average crossing above the long-term, or stochastic starting to come out of oversold territory, or some sort of sign that shows us, hey, we have some new life coming into this at these levels. Right now, we don't really have that confirmation, so therefore, we want to be careful with that. You know, if you're going to be swing trading it or buying and holding it, you want to be extremely careful with that. Looking at it on a daily basis, you saw the selling pressure coming in here, the clear reversal, started moving lower. Since that point, lower highs, lower lows. Sava, once again, Sava's stalling out right at that level of resistance. Let's keep an eye on this, work through this together. I'm not shorting it. Unfortunately, I could not get shares to be able to short it, but let's see how it handles this level of resistance here. You tried to break through, rejected. Let's see if it starts to move lower. Looking at that 3 and the 8. 3 and the 8 are still positive, but they were converging for the second. Let's see. And also, another way of knowing an exit strategy, or another potential way of identifying an exit strategy, if you're betting on the stock going a different way, if it's been in a steady uptrend and you're waiting to see if it really can confirm that new uptrend, well, we have a bearish divergence. What that means is price is moving higher, a momentum indicator is moving lower. 3 highs here, 3 lower highs here. A way of knowing an exit strategy is, using this trend line with that momentum indicator. If the DPO breaks above that trend line, then that shows that waning momentum has dissipated and that trend has been broken. So therefore, new momentum is starting to move or starting to come into the stock, and that negates, that downward trend, or that shows new buying pressure coming in. Right now, we don't have that. So right now, the trade setup still looks good. And luckily, we have our line to stand, a tight line to stand from where we got into it. We have everything still holding in. So even if it doesn't go our way, if we close out at this point, no harm, no foul, maybe a few cent loss here or there. That's fine. We can handle that. As long as we're able to manage our position, we're able to keep our position in check, not let it get out of hand. Risk management. So right now, looking at volume, this would be the confirmation moment here. If it can't get back below the 56.9 or 59 level on this minute, that would be confirmation. You had the breakout, it held above it, it closed above it. This would be follow through. Let's be patient, wait and see. One thing I will say is this push has been on lower volume relative to what it was trading at here. So we want to be careful with this. 20 more seconds. Come on, Sava. Getting back to that 56.95 or 59 level. Downtrend line on the DPO still holding. Back down below. Let's go. Come on. Let's move lower. You want to. You're running out of steam. Plus, as we looked at on the end of day chart, it's been in a steady decline for quite some time. So the overall trend of this stock is moving lower in general. Therefore, you have a lot of momentum in your favor if you're playing it to the downside right now. Keeping an eye on it. This was just for demonstration. I'm going to delete that. So that way we can see the price action with that resistance level. And this is where we'll start to wrap it up for today. Once we see if this support is going to hold or excuse me, this resistance is going to hold or not, this is where we'll start to wrap it up. I'll let you guys get on to the holiday festivities early here. Thank you all for hanging out, though. I do definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys, everybody out there, for all your support. I have a request, though. While you guys are out, having your Thanksgiving dinner with your friends, family, make sure to tell them about the Trading for Charity event. Spread the word to everybody, so that way we can get more support and we can get more money raised for Toys for Tots, also for Levine's Children's Hospital. And Badger's coming in. Hey, better late than never, Badger. Thank you once again for the $25 super chat. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Show Badger some love. Once again, thank you, Badger. Glad you could make it. Hey, rather late than never. All right. So, Matthew killing it with SLI with a short, or killing SLI with a short. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Sava, though, rejecting that resistance. I like what we're seeing with that. 388 turning potentially to the downside. There we go. Let's see if we can get follow through with the volume. Volume is conviction. We want to see conviction showing us that, the true selling pressure is coming in. Matthew coming in with another $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Matthew. Once again, everybody, show Matthew some love. Congrats with your trades. Hopefully you're doing well. Let's take a look at that SLI while we're here for a moment. SLI. How much for the Jockey Club? So I don't remember the exact cost off the top of my head. It's if you have real time and the Derby, I forget the pricing off the top of my head. But if you give our supporter call, they can answer that question for you. So give our supporter call love. Ask them about the Derby. Ask them about the Jockey Club. I know, hey, Joey, if you're in the background, do we have a link? I believe it's VectorVest.com / what is it? /trade. Let me see. I know there was one on a video that I did a few weeks ago on our jockey club. So actually, let's do this. Let me pull this up. Go here. All right, so if we go here, go to the VectorVest, go to the channel. I can find the video pretty quickly. So videos, where is it? Where is that video gone? Here we go. This is one from that. I'm gonna mute it so that way I don't blow everybody's eardrums out. But in the video link, you have, vectorvest.com/thrive. There you go. So I'm gonna put this in the chat. So if you're interested in it, this is a trial, a link to sign up for the trial for it. Gives you 30-day access. There you go. All right, so let's get out of that. SLI in at 1020 on the short. Let's see. Using our freehand or horizontal lines, 1020. 1020, where is that? So, okay, so you had the downtrend, you had lower highs, lower lows, found support at 1020, broke below that, continuing to move lower. I like that setup. Well done. Very, very nice, Matthew. I like that trade setup there. Let's go take a look. Sava's still moving, still seeing that bearish divergence. Right now, you still have not had any confirmation that the downtrend or the downward momentum is picking up, or excuse me, is dissipating here. DPO still dropping and now picking up steam to the downside. Rejection once again at that 56.59 level. I like what we're seeing with this as a short trade, especially for a day trade. You have a lot of decent profit targets, 55, 54. All the way down here, a weak level at 54.40, down here at 53.50 roughly. So yeah, you have some decent opportunities right there to the downside. You have a tight stop on it, 56.59. I like what we're seeing with this setup here so far. So Matthew, congrats. Well done on the SLI trade. That's looking pretty good. Best of luck on the Sava trade. Unfortunately, our trades we got into today weren't nearly as good as what we got into yesterday. But then again, we are the day before a major holiday. Typically these days we do see lighter volumes. So therefore, it's not necessarily the best opportunities to jump on board one way or the other. Because of, light volume, you can see quick reversals or just lower moves one way or the other. So you don't get those explosive days that we typically see. So unfortunately, we didn't have the greatest luck here today on our trades, but hey, we followed how to manage our trades properly. We cut our losses quickly. Portfolio still up nicely overall. So therefore, finishing the portfolio in the green, can't complain whatsoever. And on this, I will let you guys get to your holiday festivities. I hope you all have a great rest of your trading day. Be safe out there if you're traveling. Be safe. Make sure to really, take in the time with your family. Family is extremely important. Family is first and foremost or your first and foremost priority. So enjoy the time, spend it with them. I know some people get frustrated over the holidays. Don't let that frustration ruin a perfectly good time to really be able to interact with one another and spend time with the ones you love. So on that, happy early Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in here once again. Don't forget, tell everybody to subscribe to the VectorVest YouTube channel. That way we can make VectorVest pay even more towards the great cause. And on that note, have a great rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you guys next week. Toodles.